the latest channeling information which I had about the prime source of our solar system, and I decided to do this as a video live stream with mobile phone just because I don't have enough time, and I hope you understand, to create like a beautiful illustrated video. So I took several sketches, although they not be precise in terms I'm not an artist, but still anyway I will share this channeled information which I had. So let's start. So we were channeling the Enrico, and Enrico we are looking forward to channel how the Earth is made and the solar system is made, and they started to talk about the torsion field. And to understand what's a torsion field, I googled a couple of images, and at first, maybe 3 years ago, when first we asked this question, the being showed me an apple cut in half to describe this, and I don't know what it is. I will use my finger here. This is the center, and the waves go round like this and go up, and round like this and go up, something like yin yang. And to me it was like I just saw the outlines of this, but it's the same as an apple. And I didn't know the name of the torsion field just lately when we started doing the channel. And I found a couple of images also online that relate how does the torsion field look like, so you have a visual perspective right now. So let's get back into the drawing. So this was the absolute prime source and absolute beginning of the universe. So I drew this a little bit larger, but this is our galaxy, but this is like a zoomed in. And here are a couple other solar systems. And right here it doesn't have an outline. It may be a dark fogged out outline, a dark fogged out field, which they called as black matter. But basically how I saw it was yeah, you can say like a black matter, but it's like a dark field of energy that exists everywhere in cosmos. But at the outer barriers of the galaxy it exists. Within the galaxy, within galaxy fields, it's already filled with consciousness. So while the universe is expanding, it expands onto the energy field of black matter, and then it fills up with consciousness, and it says it's like a divine consciousness that feels the dark matter, but it can feel it only where there is an incubation zone created for the consciousness to be there. So that's why there is like a beginning of the creation, beginning of the new solar planets that are being created. So I will show you in the next sketch, which I took right just here a second. So anyway, just to keep in simple, this dark matter exists everywhere of the outer barrier of the yet unexplored galaxy, yet unexpanded, which is not yet expanded galaxy. So understood, the galaxy expands slowly, and as it expands, it takes in this dark energy, fills it with consciousness, and consciousness allows the creation to start manifesting, or the creation to start happening. So right, these images were given while I was channeling, so I just took a resketch so that I can describe you more quickly. So in this black matter, this is the area which I drew the outline in. This black matter, it forms a spark of nothingness. It forms a spark of like I drew here, like a seed or something. I don't understand. It's like a yeah, you can a sand dust, for example, or maybe a small crystal. It wasn't exactly shown what it is, but it showed like a small star within the darkness of nothingness appeared. And what this dark star does instantly, it creates an outer barrier, like a outer line. This is horizontally, but I drew it a little bit in an angle so you can see it. An outer line, and it forms that this all dark matter is a little bit squished out, and inside this field forms a torsion field, like this, like an infinite loop, I drew it really high, but it's actually more wider than this. And this infinite, how does this happen? This, we can call it our solar system, as they were saying at the beginnings of the creation. This is our solar system, this is our first sun, but it's not yet shining, it doesn't shine yet. What happens is that this small seed, just a small dust, that is being consciousness creates, then forms into torsion field. And it's not yet a beautiful torsion field, it's yet just the outer line. I drew this torsion field just to understand a little bit better. And right here on the outer barrier there is this dense amount of this black matter energy that's been squished off. And what this torsion field then does, it creates energetical loop move. And what the being said, there is another 13th planet in our galaxy, the 13th planet. So there are many more that they said. As I understood, the 9th, but we'll talk about it next slide. So what this 19th planet does, it's a black planet. They said it's a dark black planet. And what it does, it gathers the energy from the outer barrier of this dark matter, and it's somehow connected with the center of it. But what it does, it takes this black matter, what the being Sunday said was atoms that are not yet inhabited by any photons and protons, just a pure atom, just dark matter. This matter is being then taken through this torsion field outer barrier, moves through the sun, but it's not yet shining, it's just the sun. We can write it down, sun, black planet. And so what it forms a loop of energy circulation. So this black sun or black planet hovers around the outer barrier of the torsion field. It's in direct contact with the black matter, and it then sends these like small particles of atoms through the sun, and it forms a loop. And inside is an incubation zone. Inside is a harmonious incubation zone. Out here is wild radiation, wild nothingness. It can take you really over. And here is an incubation zone. And what the being said, here now beings, here now other speck of divine consciousness can now hover and lure into. It's like it lures out and filters out all the outside energies. And I just wanted to tell another thing about the torsion field as it exists here in an apple. I just remember an image which they showed was a tree. Let's just look. Wait. There are so many trees right here, but let's take for instance this tree. Let's try to view it. Oh, sorry. So this tree is also one huge torsion field. As roots go deep in, the energy from the above goes out through the sides and then back in. And here is the incubation safe zone, as you may say. And out here is many like these pure energies that go throughout, clean, and in a circle. The same as an apple. Right here. And the same is also, I found this, while I was searching for torsion fields, I found also some kind of anti-gravity craft, but whatever it is. And also here, in Yang also, a mixture with consciousness, with dark matter, and also incubation zones or planets inside that rotate. So I believe much of us, we have already the science on the background. So anyway, let's continue. And yet the sun is not shining, and yet it's just the beginning of the solar system right here. And in simple words, this black sun or this black planet is in direct contact with the outer barrier of the solar system, the outer barrier of the torsion field, and collects that energy, collects those small tiny particles, and through the field of energy, the torsion field energy movement, sends them to the sun. And what I understand, this is causing the planets to grow. And as the being said, everything grows with three components: divine consciousness, which can be already now incubated here and is already now here; energy, which basically is the black matter, the energy that's been taken of the small atom particles; And you would say also sound, but we will talk about how the light infiltrates also this. So when these components match together, they start to crystallize, like cell-to-cell splitting starts to happen. And this consciousness with the black matter is, for basically everything consists of the black matter. And it's been adjusted with energy, with sound, with the consciousness, and creates like cells and cells and cells in the resonance or in the, the atomic structure. For example, the consciousness takes the energy and creates an atom with a black matter, and then creates a cell, and then creates something like we call an object, or something like we call, maybe I can draw the image which I have. For example, it's a cell. Basically, okay, let's draw it a little bit bigger. It's a cell, and this is an atom, and there are small like dots of something around it. Now these dots in our solar system are produced by the sun. This here is produced by the black matter, and this here is produced by energy, and this here around is produced by sound and vibration. Basically, these particles are aligned by sound and vibration, but this overall connects together with the consciousness. So in cell to cell they split, and from cell to cell they split and create more and more. But in essence, it's necessary to have this dark matter, which is basically being gathered around from the outer barrier of the universe. Not the universe, sorry, our solar system. So what I drew next was how the planets, about the planets. And well, let's just Google a little bit image of solar system. Just an image, like, you know, images help to understand a little bit better. Let's try to look somewhere. Oh, here, right here. So in our universe, and this was I never knew that such a thing exists, but this was here was a phaeton planet, which was a planet before. And right now we are not looking at the torsion field, we're looking just the order of it. And right here was the 9th planet, which we'll be talking about. So Pluto is not a planet, as I understood from channeling. It's like something rotating, but here was the 9th planet that induced the sun to start shining. And just to keep in mind here, the distance is not accurate. These are just the placement of the solar system. So here was the phaeton, which basically was, as the being said, as Mars and Earth were green planets. And Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, and now I will describe you why. So, and here was the 9th planet, and right here, as the being said, are the black planets. And these black planets, like the 10th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th planet, which is the black planet outside, which I was showing, are planets to stabilize the solar system and to energetically protect the solar system from the outer raids of energies that are in outer cosmos. So these next planets, which is being said, well, basically it's nearly impossible for you to discover them, but I think you will discover them in a while. But these planets are in the cycle. So let's talk about the torsion cycles. The energy from the sun, as the torsion field radius goes through the 9th planet, which was their 9th planet. This is the first incubation cycle. And now let's get to the incubation cycles. Here I drew a sketch, although it's not a beautiful sketch. You have to, I'm sorry for that, I apologize for that. But here I drew a sketch. Here is the sun, but it's already as it is formed right now. But we'll talk about the 9th planet right now, which I showed you in the image, which is the Kuiper belt. You know, this is where it was here. So this planet appeared and started to appear in the middle of the torsion field because it's the absolute center. And what happens, this is the outer barrier from the 13th planets, which rotates outside in the dark matter. It sends through these dark matter particles through the sun, and it forms into another circle right here, in another circle, in a smaller circle right here. And this is the center of the balance of these two planets. And here in this circle, this planet starting to getting this matter from the outer barrier, from the sun, which yet is not still shining. It created a matter, a block, as they said. It nearly was a rock, but it was huge. It was nearly 70% size, 80% size of the sun. And this whole, it started forming, crystallizing there, because it was in the epicenter of the energy flow. So as I said in the beginning, as energy flows there, it starts to crystallize cells, and it started to creating their energetical, like a forming, like as a planet, as a form. And what being said, this didn't exist for a long period, but what this planet did, as it ignited, as it was starting to form, and as it created, it erupted and exploded, creating a meteorite belt. And this meteorite belt, as it exists all over of the solar system, around the ring where it rotates. And this created for the sun a resonance, an energetical reflective resonance, like this, and this ignited through the resonance the particles. And as I understood, the sun shines within its energy within this first cycle. This is the first cycle, what I showed on the image, and this is the second cycle right here, the outer black planets which are in our solar system. And these second cycle planets protect the solar system, outer energies, resonance, and balance the solar system itself, harmonizes. And right here are forming the inner cycle, and through this energy resonance, it enlightened the sun to start shining. The sun nearly doesn't exist, but through this circle of the resonance that the sun gathers from the outer barrier, these particles were, let's say, ignited with this energy from the ninth planet, and it started to creating the solar shine. And what the being said, it now created like a place where beings also can, not only now consciousness, but also can beings now lure into and look around to start working here, or to start doing something here in the solar system. But just to keep in simple words, here is the sun cycle, here is the dark cycle, the same as in yang, as you imagine. Now here, right here, is Jupiter. It's in the center, and Jupiter formed also in the center of the energy flow between this inner cycle, first inner cycle, and the second inner cycle. And Jupiter, as I see from the channeling, is the largest planet in our solar system, which basically is in fact true, because it is in the center of the energy flow of the dark matter. So it therefore has the strongest energy field, the Jupiter has, and also it has the strongest amounts of energy flowing through it with the dark matter particles. And while Jupiter started to forming, this planet was now it's but as Jupiter started forming, and this made us perfectly clear that there's definitely a technological life living on the Jupiter, because as I understood from the channeling, that this is nearly the most important part now in our solar system, the Jupiter. Now it formed another two cycles, the first and the second cycle of the torsion field. And on the second cycle, as I understood, there are these, as they said, technical planets. They're basically gas-like technical planets, because it's on the second torsion field side, second cycle from the first cycle. So on the second cycle, they're basically technical planets. They're not like planets like we have on our first cycle, the Phaeton, the Mars, and the Earth, which basically is in the harmonious energy of life cycle, the first cycle. So it's divided in two. So by default, this means that here, no Greaselands, no Greenlands, no flowers can actually grow, because all the living force, or the force of life energy, is here on the first cycle. And what Jupiter formed next was another two cycles. Let's look more closely to the this is Earth right here, this small, and through the Earth it forms another cycle. Wait, I'll And through the Earth it flows another cycle, and that's why I understood the Earth is so important. Maybe let's look back here. So imagine like here is a huge, but this is not exact size. You need to Google the exact proportion of the distance, and then you will see that Jupiter is actually really close proportionally. So the Sun forms this cycle first, and Jupiter forms the second cycle through Earth and then back to the Sun. What I understood from the channeling between Earth and Venus, there is like a energetical sun, invisible energetical ring around the Sun, which basically filters the solar energy. What I understood from the Venus and Mercury, there could be really high rays of Sun, not only as we have it, but also with radiation much higher. So the Earth is also in the field, and that's why I understood the polarities of the Earth. The top side of the Earth, or the North Pole of the Earth, are basically the centers where this energy flow of the matter goes. And that's why Jupiter is much larger, because it's in the center of the Sun, and it has the much amounts of richest these black matter particles going through. What I understood, what happened to Phaeton, these planets starting to squeeze, and Jupiter started to squeeze a little bit energetically to the Phaeton, which was here. But I don't know if this is the exact case. But what happened then was the Phaeton got destroyed. This was the Phaeton got destroyed, and while Jupiter, with a large energy field, was protecting the Phaeton, the Mars, and the Earth, at that time where everybody lived in peace and harmony, while it was destroyed, the Phaeton was destroyed. Now let's draw a cross on the Phaeton. When it was destroyed, it created also another meteorite belt, which basically is this one right here, which created another meteor belt. But then what happened? Mars, as they said, was completely not, this is Mars, energetically protected, because the Phaeton protected the energy field of the outer barrier, but now it's not protected. And while Earth is still living, it's because Earth is in the second in the cycle between Jupiter, the torsion field cycle, although smaller cycles still exist between them, but the main flow is between the Jupiter and the Sun. So what happened then was that many beings went to Earth, and Mars was energetically unprotected from many like intruders or things that can come from the outer cosmos, and also related to the energies. So what happened then was Mars also then eventually got, like in the other channelings, destroyed from the invasions, and also Earth was let's say stampede lots of times from the invasions. And this is when the Phaeton got destroyed, this is the time of great, like say time of darkness for these three green lands that are in the life center of the incubation, this cycle of the torsion field. So talking about next so about the torsion field, what I understood, how do they see this life cycle, is that Sun uses this black matter and ignites it with polarity like an atom, and it has something rotating around it, this is the Sun particle, and it sends through and bursts through. And also Earth has this dark matter going through it, and Earth also grows from this dark matter that's being collected from the 13th planet. And these Sun particles, they are really lots, many here in this first cycle. And therefore the plants, like flowers, like trees and everything, can grow because they connect with this particle, and it helps to give the cells splitting. And also this small particle of the black matter gives them the ability to grow. So there was lots of more information which I don't quite yet catch up. I will talk about this a little bit more. But still, in essence, torsion fields and fields of torsion, as I understood from channeling, is the main essence of space and time travel. maybe space and travel, but is the main essence of, or the technology is the main essence of, let's say, interstellar travel also, because what I stood here is that the absolute easiest way to enter our solar system is through Jupiter, because it has the torsion field open around it. So you enter the Jupiter and then you move to the Earth. And also these small like torsion fields, they exist everywhere around, around the planet, a little field. And also this is the source of gravity. This is also the source of gravity, because every planet has this field around it. And what I understood also of channeling, it's the source also of about astrology. It's the source also. It's the source also of solar flare, like I think it's called. And about the astrology, how do planets affect astrology? For example, imagine this is the Jupiter right here, and this is Earth right here. The torsion field exists even the planets are in an opposite side. It's like an energy flow through the resonance of these patterns. And the planets just rotate through the centers of the torsion field cycles. And the planets exist there because there are these centers of the cycles of the energy flow to form. So what happens is when, for example, planet Earth is here, or Jupiter, whatever, for example, it's on the opposite sides, they flow through Jupiter. It's not affected on planet Earth. The energy moves throughout every planet right here, smaller or greater, but it's not so highly affected when the Jupiter is here. But when Jupiter moves around and gets closer to the Sun, the energy starts, to the Earth, the energy starts flowing through the Jupiter, through these torsion fields, and sends energy through the Earth. And that's why they communicate, and they are communicating. And that's why also I would say energies from other planets are being gathered and sent through the outer barriers of the torsion fields. So it was like, okay, now this aligns me so many new things, so many new perspectives of how you can look upon things, because everything now consists of the torsion field. Even our chakra system, our chakras, our crown chakra exists from these energy fields, or these torsion fields, or these energy cycle of movements. And right now I had a little bit question to myself: does this energy goes in a circle like here, or does this energy goes and flows like in an infinite loop around like this? And that would be really interesting to find out on the channel. But I think whatever it is, or whatever it happens, I think both ways are okay. I believe there was lots of more information to it, but at this time I cannot exactly recall and remember. But anyway, as soon as I do, I will create some more videos, and that's what I'm basically always doing. So thank you for watching. I hope this shared some information, and have a good day.